Hi, my name is Patricia Miller, and this is my screencast for ATM 101 Unit 3. My weather station is located in Kodiak, Alaska, which is an island in the Gulf of Alaska. My weather station is located in downtown Kodiak at the base of Pillar Mountain. Here is my spreadsheet for my observations for the week of January 25th through January 29th of 2014. I took my weather readings every day after work at about 5:30 to 5:45 p.m. These right here are the current temperatures at the time of my observations for the left thermometer. These are the current temperatures for the right thermometer. These are the barometric pressures that we had throughout the week. This is the left thermometer maximums throughout the week. This is the left thermometer minimums throughout the week. And this is the right thermometer max throughout the week and the minimum for the right thermometer throughout the week. And these are the average temperatures for the left and the right thermometer throughout the week. As you can see, we stayed in the low 40s and the high 30s throughout the week. The lowest temperature that we got to was 37.7 degrees Fahrenheit, and the highest temperature that we got to was 44.1 degrees Fahrenheit. These temperatures overall are abnormally warm for Kodiak at this time of year, and because of the warmth, gardeners around town are actually worried it's going to throw off the growing season for the rest of the year. Here's my graph for the temperatures throughout the week. I adjusted the axes so that you can see each graph better because my ranges of data between the days were not that large. We started out for the average a bit cooler than 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Throughout the week we spiked for the averages at about 42 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we dropped for the averages at about just below 40 degrees Fahrenheit for the week. Here's my barometric pressure graph for the week. As you can see, we started out at 1006 millibars. In the middle of the week we dropped down to 1000 millibars. By the end of the week we're at 1011 millibars. These are pretty consistent with the temperatures that I had. At the start of the week, a low pressure was coming in, and that low pressure brought rains and winds that we had during the week. As the high pressure moved in from the center of the week to the end of the week, I noticed that the air got drier and cooler. Because I'm at the base of Pillar Mountain, and because I'm in between a bunch of buildings, it was really hard for me to get an accurate wind reading for the week. So instead of staying next to the building, every day I would walk out into the parking lot to get a better idea of what the wind was doing. And from what I could tell, the wind shifted from a northern wind to a southeasterly wind throughout the week, which helped push the higher pressure in. This is my worksheet from January 26th, and this is the day that we had the strongest wind on the Beaufort scale. It was about a 6, which is a strong breeze, and it was accompanied by rain and fog. The trees were moving constantly, and if you open a car door, it got pulled by the wind, so it was pretty strong. Throughout the week, the winds died down from a 6 from this day on, and it got all the way down to a 2, a light breeze. On January 27th, this is my worksheet for that day, we had a large variety of clouds here in Kodiak. We had altostratus, nimbostratus, scud, and fog. And I think that was due to the low pressure and the high pressure meeting. And at this point, we were at the lowest point in our barometric pressure readings, which was 1000. I think overall my data was pretty consistent with each other. With what the weather was doing in comparison to what my instruments were reading, it all made sense to me. So that's a look at the week of weather for January 25th through January 29th of 2014. Thanks for listening.